This is the first episode of the Underground Arena training, where I will analyze my Underground Arena matches. Every episode will have a different focus. Today's training manual is about positioning. Our aim is to get to the top 128 to compete in the next tournament. As you can see, the number 128 place is at 2000 points, so let's try to get there. Also, I have not much experience in Underground Arena, having played less than 50 matches, so I'm quite a beginner too. Anyhow, let's get started. Our first opponent is the Guildmaster of Channel 1, one of the top 3 guilds in Asia. Let's analyze this battle. We both started with the standard Velfen and Levia opening. Seeing that he has a Zakan bomb, I decided to attack with Marmonia, then Eden, threatening the middle lane. I also prepared to counter Levia with Lucius in front. Hence, the Axes mark the death zone. However, at that moment, I did not see the Zenith Lian bomb that he has prepared, so I put Foxy in the death zone. So let's see how this match will go. Actually, in this video, I'm very fortunate to be able to fight with a lot of war veterans, a lot of grandmasters in the arena, users from the top guilds in Asia, people with a lot of experience in Browndust in general, and a lot of things that I can learn from them. So hopefully you can pick up something from this video too. I mean, win or lose doesn't really matter, because maybe they are also trying out new techniques or new tactics. We are all here to learn and improve, so no judging, okay? The match is probably over at this point.
A few moments later.
The second match is against Vincent142. He is a member of Uprising, the strongest rank 1 guild in Asia. And now we will analyze this battle. I started with my standard Velfen opening, while he opened with Ceres into Angelica. This makes him quite vulnerable because you can guess which lane to guard, because Ceres buffs in a line. However, I made two big mistakes. The first is to use Veronia instead of Vaneka. The second is actually taunting away my advantage and even putting Eden behind to get killed. The next battle is against Astir from MIDI. So this guy is quite scary. He's got a plus 10 Natus, which potentially could attack the entire lane. So I need to watch out for that. The next battle is against Aros. Aros is probably the first guy in Asia to get plus 10 Marmonia, so I'm quite excited to fight him. However, in this battle I made two major mistakes. The first is actually to put Lilian to block against Velahimina, which is a fixed damage attacker. The second is actually to put my own Velahimina beside Marmonia at the back line and get killed by Vals. A tragic defeat. Moving on, we'll be fighting Mid-Sin, who is actually from Silverwing, one of the top 3 guilds in Asia. So in this battle, actually I got really very cocky to put a Veronia to tank against a triple buff Marmonia. If Veronia really dies, Vigo will be able to destroy my entire attack formation. He also did a very smart move by putting Vals, which essentially is trying to flank me from front and back. In this case, I made the tough decision to put Lucius at the back instead of the front. Survived with 1 HP. Next, we are fighting Edward from Phoenix Down, the top 10 guild in Asia. He started with a Velfen, Warrior and Leto combo, which essentially makes me need to defend the back. But somehow he managed to clutter at the front with only putting a Lucius to defend, but that made it vulnerable to my Velfen 9 squares attack. So the next opponent is Cjbeards, who is the Deputy Guild Master of Uprising. Looking at his formation, Can see why he's the deputy guild master of the strongest guild in Asia. But let's try to fight him and see how it goes. Essentially his lineup has a lot of defenders, so I'm actually very worried if I'm able to break through and kill his attackers. We also mustn't forget he has a plus 10 Levia, which will kill my plus 10 Mammonia. So I started with a taunt formation to taunt into Mammonia, but actually this is very vulnerable to his Zenith. I also made a mistake by putting Vonia beside Mammonia, which could be easily taken out by Baus. The next match is against Chalky. He is actually a gold rank player, so I'm very impressed that he is able to match with me. It's either the matchmaking went wrong or he is really very good and managed to get to such high ladder rank with these units. Oh, but he surrendered. The next match is against Galvador. So Galvador is Tournament 1's finalist. So that means he is actually rank 2 in last tournament. The reason why this screenshot is so messy is because I took a long while to plan how to fight him that I almost forgot to record this video. So it kind of recorded when the battle started. And if you notice the order below, I actually forgot to put one unit during one of the turns, so it's essentially 8v9. And the reason why I took so long to think is because I really don't know how much damage Jin can deal, so it's difficult for me to plan how to fight against him. See, he actually deals a lot of damage, even taking away 30k of my Mammonia shield. And this part was also very weird. I thought the Sick would have killed both of my units, but in the end he died. So in the end, I got the advantage and won. It's 1 minute till the closure of Underground Arena, so let's try to find one more opponent. Who will it be? Drum roll. The Emperor. So this guy is actually No Salt's Guildmaster. So No Salt is also a top 10 guild in Asia. It looks like he's playing a grand deck with some attack units and a Levia. His lineup is actually very scary cause he got Hanya, Levia and Lesis. So he's very strong against line formation, and his grand deck part of this lineup makes it very strong against spread out units also because of Celia. Overall it's a well-rounded lineup. So I just open with a typical Velfen opening. At this moment, I'm just thinking if I should taunt Marmonia at a corner to isolate all the damage. But because he has attack priority, I decided to go for Veronia instead. This gives me the advantage to counter attack whatever he is putting in the next 4 slots. Interestingly, he decided to set up a taunt on Lilian, despite me having Belahimina. Chaining into a lethal first attack. From the previous battle, we learned that we would position a defender behind to counter this lethal. Now I'm just thinking, where will he put his Levia and where will he put his Hanya, because these are his 2 main attackers. He could also opt to play Celia and Grenhilda, but I think I'll be able to deal with a Grand Deck formation right now. Putting Velahimia at the top is actually a gamble, because she's actually a very useful unit to deal with all his units. However, I also need to spread out the units so that Hanya don't kill all of them. And now I will have to distribute the units to deal most damage and threaten him so that he would counter these units instead of Velahimina. And very funnily, I put a John here to really throw him off guard. Make him spend all the time thinking how to counter this next move. But actually it's actually nothing. I just want to protect Velahimina. But having putting John now, it could be a John to Lucius, John to Lilian, John to a Zagan Bomb, or John to a Marmonia. The possibilities are actually endless. Not endless, but there are a lot of possibilities. One of the last 2 slots is also used to counter Leto, but now with Hanya, maybe we will need to sacrifice our middle lane. with that Levia, the middle lane is sealed. You cannot possibly fight middle lane anymore, so you need to fight on other lanes. So over here he put a lag list. I'm not sure if it was a mistake on his part, but you should never put a lag list when you are starting first, unless you are very sure what you're doing. You will see why later. And over here I put the units in the middle lane, despite what I analyzed earlier. The reason why is because I decided that the other lanes have no impact if I put units there, so I really wanted to kill the middle lane units. She does this now. See, she changed into her bomb mode. But I'm pretty sure that what he wanted was actually for her to be in her taunt mode. I'm not saying you shouldn't use her when you are an attacker, but unless you want to spend like about 10-20 seconds counting whether she's in her bomb or taunt mode, I think you better don't put her. And here I really didn't expect Mamonia to get 45k damage and die. From the looks of things, I look like I'm pretty much dead. See, Hanya is really very powerful in destroying units. Or not. These tanky supporters are really the MVP of all my matches. This match was way too close. I mean, anyone could have won in that match. By the way, am I the only one who thinks that looks like a vulgar word? Anyway, congrats on winning the global tournament